Welcome, everyone, to AA Sports Predictor. Today's clash between the Milwaukee Bucks and Oklahoma City Thunder is a game you don't want to miss. Buckle up because this ride's about to get wild. The Bucks' 3 losses in their last 4 games, limping through the West Coast like an aging rock band on tour. A close win against the Jazz, but the Clippers, Blazers, and Spurs handed them losses. Still, this team isn't on life support. Giannis Antetokounmpo is putting up 35 points and grabbing 14 boards like it's another day at the office. With 31.8 ppg, he's second in the league. Knee injury or not, you know the Thunder are praying he sits this one out. Then there's the injury circus. Lillard, Portis, Lopez, and Middleton are all questionable. A list longer than a Scorsese's epic. But here's the twist: Milwaukee thrives when the odds are stacked against them. AJ Green might only be averaging 7.7 ppg, but games like this turn role players into heroes. Doubt them at your own risk. Now, the Thunder. First in the West, fresh off a 34-point obliteration of the Kings. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leads the league with 32.4 ppg, and their defense. Top-ranked, clamping down like a vice. Aaron Wiggins dropped 41, and they've got momentum. They're rested and they smell blood. But here's the thing: spread is 8.5, and everyone expects a Thunder blowout. Fatigue, injuries, sure, but this is where champions dig deep. The Bucks know how to slow down the pace, drag their opponents into ugly, grinded-out battles. If Giannis suits up even partially healthy, this game turns from a smooth Thunder cruise into a bumpy ride. And today's AI pick is Bucks 8.5. Picture the final moments: Giannis, knee wrapped but eyes locked, Bobby Portis hitting a key shot, and AJ Green knocking down a clutch 3. The Thunder may win, but they won't walk away clean. Milwaukee's got too much grit to just roll over. And that's how you make a statement. On to Game 2.
Let's dive into Game 2. Wizards vs. Hornets. On paper, it's a dumpster fire, a battle between two struggling teams clawing for scraps at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. But if you dig a little deeper, you'll see why this matchup is more than just a race to the bottom. Washington finally snapped a 16-game losing streak. Their fans probably threw a parade for that one. They're 2-21 on the road, and yeah, they beat Minnesota. But let's not act like that changes the fact that this team has been a disaster all season. Sure, Kyle Kuzma had a night, 31 points, 8 rebounds, but do we really think he's dragging this team to back-to-back wins? The Wizards shoot 43.4% from the field, second worst in the league. They're dead last in defense, giving up 121.8 points per game, and their three-point shooting is so cold you'd think they were playing in an ice rink. Now, Charlotte isn't exactly a powerhouse. But here's where it gets interesting. They've lost 4 straight, sure, but they've been battling through injuries. LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges, Brandon Miller, key players missing games. But even without their full arsenal, this team can rebound. They rank 5th in the league in boards, and that's where they'll punish Washington. The Wizards can't defend the paint. And Charlotte's bigs, Mark Williams and Miles Bridges, are going to eat them alive on second-chance points. And let's talk about defense. The Hornets may not be lighting it up offensively, but their defense ranks 10th in the league, allowing just 111.9 points per game. That's a stark contrast to Washington's revolving door of a defense. The Hornets know how to keep games close, and when it comes to closing out against weak opponents, I trust them more than a Wizards team riding high off a fluke win. The spread is 4. Seems like a gift, doesn't it? The Wizards' road record is a death sentence, and this isn't the team you trust to stack wins. Charlotte's defense, rebounding, and just enough offense from Miles Bridges will get the job done. And today's AI pick is Hornets, 4. Expect a slugfest. Kuzma will get his shots up, but it won't be enough. Miles Bridges is grabbing boards. LaMelo Ball might make a surprise return, and the Hornets are snapping their losing streak tonight. Wizards fans, enjoy that Minnesota win. It's back to reality. On to Game 3.
The Rockets stroll into Madison Square Garden, and all I'm hearing is the Knicks this, the Knicks that. Let me be clear, this isn't a New York coronation. This is a battle, and Houston isn't here to play the victim. Look, I get it. The Knicks are 4th in points per game, their offense is ranked 2nd in efficiency, and they're right behind the Celtics in the East. But let's not ignore the cracks in the foundation. They're 18th in field goal defense and dead last in 3-point defense. I'm talking wide open shots, defenders late on rotations, and teams lighting them up from deep like it's a practice session. If you think Houston's offense can't exploit that, think again. Now, let's address the narrative everyone's riding. Sengun and Van Vliet might not play. Sure, that's not ideal, but this isn't a one-man show. Jalen Green is cooking. He just dropped 29, and he's going to keep that hot hand in the garden. The Rockets lead the league in rebounding, and here's where it gets fun. Even without Sengun, they can dominate the boards. Jabari Smith Jr. might be out, but their depth in the front court, especially on second-chance opportunities, will keep the Knicks on their heels. Houston's defense under Ime Udoka isn't just good, it's elite. 5th in points allowed, 6th in field goal defense, and 4th in defensive efficiency. They don't let you get comfortable. They're going to contest shots, grab boards, and force the Knicks into tough looks. Josh Hart's 26 points against the Lakers? Don't expect a repeat. Houston's defense thrives on disrupting rhythm, and Hart isn't seeing the same clean looks tonight. Let's talk matchups. The Knicks are riding a 5-game winning streak that just came to a crashing halt against a Lakers team dealing with trade chaos. If New York couldn't lock down that win, what makes you think they're ready to handle a hungry, scrappy Rockets team looking to make a statement? And while everyone's focused on the Knicks' offense, they're forgetting how turnover-prone they've been. They're 25th in turnover margin. Houston's defense will pounce on those mistakes and turn them into transition points. And today's AI pick is Rockets plus 5.5. The Garden crowd may be loud, but Houston's resilience is louder. Expect Jalen Green to go off, their defense to frustrate the Knicks, and their rebounding to be the difference. It won't be pretty, but Houston doesn't need pretty, they need gritty. And tonight, that's exactly what they're bringing. On to Game 4.
The Grizzlies want you to believe they've got this game in the bag. But let me tell you, San Antonio isn't walking into Memphis like a bunch of tourists ready to get steamrolled. No, this isn't just a road trip for the Spurs, this is their statement game. And I am here to explain why the Spurs 5.5 is the play. First off, Victor Wembanyama. Questionable or not, the kid is a game changer, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. He's averaging 24.6 points per game and can alter the game's momentum with just a couple of possessions. Whether it's blocking shots, running the floor, or stretching defenses with his shooting, his impact extends beyond the stat sheet. Even if he's not at 100%, the threat alone opens up space for guys like Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson to do damage. Now here's the thing: Jarion's focusing on Memphis lighting up the scoreboard in their previous matchups. Sure, they dropped 134.5 points on San Antonio twice in January, but let's not get carried away. This is a different situation. The Grizzlies are on the second night of a back-to-back, and we all know fatigue doesn't just knock on the door, it kicks it down. Ja Morant is questionable, Marcus Smart is out, and this team isn't exactly brimming with depth beyond their starting lineup. If they're going to depend on a tired rotation to replicate that offensive performance, they're in for a rude awakening. San Antonio's defense has holds no doubt about that, but here's the twist: they're elite at limiting free throw attempts and shutting down shots at the rim. That's critical because Memphis thrives on attacking the paint and getting to the line. If the Spurs cut off those lanes and force Memphis to take contested jumpers, this game could get a lot uglier for the Grizzlies than they're prepared for. Memphis turnover problem. 4th worst in the league. That's not something you can hide on tired legs. The Spurs may not be the kings of forcing turnovers, but they'll take advantage of the sloppy passes and rushed possessions that always rear their heads in back-to-backs. Expect San Antonio to create transition opportunities and steal a few extra possessions. The Spurs aren't road warriors, sure, but this isn't about needing to win outright. It's about keeping things close, making the Grizzlies work for every basket, and using their superior size and rebounding to create second-chance points. Wembanyama's length, combined with Zach Collins' rebounding, will exploit Memphis' 23rd-ranked defensive rebounding rate. And today's AI pick is Spurs 5.5. Picture Wembanyama blocking shots, Vassell knocking down threes, and the Grizzlies running out of gas halfway through the fourth. The home crowd may be loud, but it won't drown out the sound of San Antonio grinding their way to a cover. On to Game 5.
Indiana's riding high, and that's exactly why they're about to trip up. The Pacers have won 11 of their last 13. But let's not act like they've been steamrolling playoff contenders. Beating the Spurs, Pistons, and Hawks. Not exactly impressive. They've been feasting on the bottom of the barrel, and now they're walking into a trap in Salt Lake City. I know what you're thinking. The Jazz are 11-36, and on paper, this should be a walkover for the Pacers. But that's where everyone's getting it wrong. The Jazz just stopped an 8-game skid by holding Orlando to 99 points. And while the Pacers are miles ahead of the Magic offensively, Utah's defense is waking up. They held Orlando to 33% shooting and forced them into 16 turnovers. This isn't a defense lying down anymore. Colin Sexton is cooking with 22 points and 8 assists in their last outing. And John Collins added 19 while Lauri Markkanen grabbed 11 boards. The Pacers may have the 8th best defense in the league, but their defense ranks 20th. They give up 114.9 points per 100 possessions, and you don't want to give guys like Sexton, Markkanen, and Collins that much space. They'll punish you for it. And let's not overlook the Pacers' recent struggles on the road. Sure, they've covered 6 straight, but trends don't last forever. The Jazz are primed for another upset. They have size inside, they crash the boards, and they're catching the Pacers at the perfect time. Indiana is coming off a hard-fought win over Atlanta and might be looking ahead to tougher matchups. That's when underdogs like Utah pounce. And today's AI pick is Jazz plus 6.5. Expect the Jazz to play this one close. Sexton will continue to lead, Markkanen will crash the boards, and they'll take advantage of the Pacers' lapses on defense. This won't be a blowout. It'll be a grind, and Utah thrives in that environment. Here's your recap of today's AI picks. Game 1, Bucks plus 8.5 Game 2, Hornets minus 4 Game 3, Rockets plus 5.5 Game 4, Spurs plus 5.5 Game 5, Jazz plus 6.5 if you love what we're bringing. Hit that like button and subscribe for more eye-driven predictions. This ride's just getting started.